The moment cats stop and stare at nothing, what their spirit is sensing. You've seen it happen. Your cat is resting peacefully, perhaps grooming themselves or half asleep in a patch of sunlight. Then, without warning, they freeze. Their eyes lock onto a specific point in the room, a corner, a doorway, an empty space on the wall. Their pupils dilate, their ears rotate forward. Every muscle in their body becomes still, focused, alert. And you look. You search for what captured their attention so completely. But there's nothing there. Nothing you can see anyway. Here's what I want you to know before we go any further. That moment, that sacred pause when your cat stares into what seems like emptiness, isn't empty at all. What they're sensing goes far beyond our human perception. And by the end of this journey together, you'll understand why these moments happen most often when you need them the most. If you enjoy meaningful stories and spiritual insights about cats, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The Sacred Paws, when your cat sees beyond the veil. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that sudden shift in the atmosphere when your cat locks their gaze on nothing? That strange silence that fills the room? You're not imagining it, and you're certainly not alone in noticing. It happens in the middle of the night. You wake at 3 a.m. to find your cat sitting perfectly still in the hallway, staring intently down the corridor. No movement, no sound, just that unwavering focus on something invisible. It happens during ordinary moments. Your cat is chasing a toy across the living room, fully engaged and playful. Then they stop mid-step. Their head tilts upward. They track something across the ceiling with their eyes, something you cannot see, something that doesn't disturb the air or cast a shadow. It happens when you're sitting together in comfortable silence. Your cat rests beside you, and suddenly their whole body tenses. They stare at the doorway, unblinking, as if watching someone enter. But no one is there, at least no one visible to your eyes. These aren't random quirks of feline behavior. These are windows, glimpses into a layer of reality that exists just beyond the reach of human senses. Throughout history, cultures across the world have honored cats as beings who walk between worlds. The ancient Egyptians believed cats could see and communicate with spirits, which is why they were considered sacred guardians of the threshold between life and death. Celtic traditions spoke of cats as mystical creatures who could perceive the movements of the unseen realm. In Buddhist teachings, cats are recognized as beings of heightened awareness, capable of sensing energies that most humans have forgotten how to feel. But let's bring this back to what we know, what science has proven. Cats possess sensory abilities that dramatically exceed our own. Their eyes can detect ultraviolet light, wavelengths completely invisible to us. This means they literally see aspects of the world we cannot. They perceive patterns, movements, and presences in the UV spectrum that exist in a space we can never visually access. Their hearing operates at frequencies up to 64 kilohertz. Humans, by comparison, can only hear up to about 20 kilohertz. That means cats are constantly receiving information from their environment that we're simply not equipped to process. Ultrasonic sounds, minute vibrations, the subtle hum of electronic devices, the movement of air currents, cats hear it all. When you combine these scientifically proven abilities with the spiritual wisdom passed down through generations, something profound emerges. Your cat isn't staring at nothing. They're staring at everything, at dimensions of existence that pulse with energy, frequency, and life, dimensions that our human bodies were never designed to fully perceive. Think about the last time your cat had one of these moments. Where were you emotionally? What was happening in your life? I want you to really consider this, because there's a pattern here that many people overlook. These moments of feline focus often occur during times of transition, during periods of grief, stress, or uncertainty, when the energy in your home feels heavy or unsettled. when you're going through something difficult, even if you haven't spoken it aloud. Perhaps they're not just seeing something beyond our perception. Perhaps they're also doing something protective, something purposeful. Have you ever noticed how, after your cat stares at that empty corner for several long minutes, the atmosphere in the room shifts? How the air feels lighter somehow? How you feel calmer, even though nothing visible has changed? I'd love to hear your experience. Tell me in the comments, when does your cat stop and stare? What's happening in your life during those moments? I promise I'll read and respond to every single one of you because your stories matter. Your connection with your cat is unique and it's sacred. Science gives us the framework, the enhanced senses, the biological capabilities. But spirituality gives us the meaning. And somewhere in the space between what we can measure and what we can feel, the truth lives. Your cat sees with eyes that capture light you'll never witness. They hear frequencies that will never reach your ears. And in those moments when they stop, when they become perfectly still and focus on the invisible, they're tuning into something ancient, something real, something that exists whether we acknowledge it or not. Maybe they're not seeing nothing. Maybe they're seeing everything. And maybe, just maybe, in those silent moments of focused attention, they're not just observing what's there. Maybe they're holding space, protecting, transmuting, quietly doing the work that guardians have always done. But if they truly are sensing something beyond the veil, something that exists in the spaces between what we know and what we feel, then what exactly are their eyes capturing? What kind of energy draws their attention so completely? And why does this moment arrive again and again, precisely when your heart needs it most? Guardians of energy, the spiritual gift. Your cat carries. Their eyes don't lie, and neither does your intuition. You've felt it, haven't you? That inexplicable sense that your cat knows something you don't. That they're aware of presences, shifts, and currents in your home that escape your conscious awareness. What I'm about to share with you might confirm what you've always suspected, but perhaps never had the words to express. Your cat isn't just a companion, they're a guardian, a transmuter of energy, a keeper of balance in your sacred space. Let's talk about energy for a moment. Not in abstract or complicated terms, but in the way it actually shows up in your daily life. Energy is real. It's the heaviness you feel after an argument. It's the lightness that fills a room when someone you love walks in. It's the inexplicable discomfort you experience in certain spaces, or the peace you feel in others. We've all walked into a room and immediately sensed that something happened there. A fight, a moment of sadness, a celebration. That's energy. It lingers. It accumulates. It affects us, whether we acknowledge it or not. Now here's where your cat becomes extraordinary. Cats are natural transmuters of dense energy. They don't just sense the emotional and spiritual atmosphere of your home, they actively work to transform it. When your environment carries heavy, stagnant, or negative energy, your cat absorbs it, processes it through their own electromagnetic field, and releases it as something neutral or even healing. This isn't mysticism without foundation. Consider the scientific reality of a cat's purr. Research has shown that the frequency of a cat's purr, typically between 25 and 50 hertz, promotes healing in bones and tissues, reduces stress, and lowers blood pressure in humans. These are the same frequencies used in therapeutic sound healing and certain forms of meditation. Your cat's purr is literally a healing vibration, and they offer it to you freely, instinctively, whenever they sense you need it. But their work goes deeper than purring beside you when you're sad. Think about the times your cat has appeared seemingly out of nowhere during your most difficult moments. You're crying in your bedroom, and suddenly they're there, pressing their head against your hand. You've just had a terrible day, and when you walk through the door, they're waiting, watching you with those knowing eyes. You might call it coincidence. But coincidences, when they happen repeatedly and with such precise timing, become patterns. And patterns reveal purpose. I want to share something with you that countless people have experienced but rarely speak about openly. Cats often enter our lives during periods of profound transition or pain. A woman adopts a stray cat the same month she loses her mother. A man finds a kitten abandoned in a box during the darkest period of his depression. A family brings home a cat just weeks before a serious illness is diagnosed. These aren't accidents. These are appointments. Soul-level meetings orchestrated by something far greater than chance. Your cat chose to be with you, not randomly, not arbitrarily, but because their spirit recognized something in yours that needed witnessing, protecting, or healing. Now, let's return to those moments when your cat stops and stares at nothing. When they fix their gaze on a corner of the room, a doorway, or a spot on the wall. What if I told you they're performing a kind of spiritual maintenance? In many wisdom traditions, it's understood that negative or heavy energies tend to collect in specific areas: corners, thresholds, places where air doesn't circulate freely. These are the exact locations where you'll often find your cat staring. They're not just observing, they're working, neutralizing, clearing, creating safety. Have you ever noticed that after your home feels tense, maybe after an argument or a stressful day, your cat becomes more active? They might walk through every room, pausing in doorways, sitting in unusual spots. They're not being strange, they're restoring balance. When your cat positions themselves between you and a doorway, they're not in your way. They're standing guard. When they sleep at the foot of your bed, facing the door, they're not just comfortable there, they're watching over you. When they refuse to enter a particular room or corner of your house, they're sensing something you can't, and they're showing you where attention is needed. Let me ask you something personal, and I truly hope you'll share your answer in the comments. Has your cat ever refused to leave your side during a specific period of your life? Or have they ever avoided a particular person who visited your home, someone who later proved to be untrustworthy or harmful? Your cat's instincts about people and places aren't random preferences. They're reading energy signatures that you might be too polite, too socialized, or too distracted to notice. They see beyond the masks people wear. They feel the truth that words often hide. This is their gift. This is what they came to do. And when they sit in that perfect stillness, eyes locked on the invisible, they're performing an act of devotion. They're holding space for you. They're maintaining the energetic integrity of your home. They're being the guardians they were born to be. Some of you might be thinking, but my cat seems so ordinary. They sleep most of the day. They're playful and silly. Yes, and that's exactly the point. They don't need to appear mystical or otherworldly to fulfill their purpose. Their guardianship is woven into the ordinary fabric of their existence. It's in the way they choose where to rest, in their routines, in their presence itself. The most powerful protection is often the quietest. So the next time you see your cat staring at what appears to be empty space, don't dismiss it. Don't assume they're just being strange or seeing shadows. Pause for a moment, breathe, and silently acknowledge what they're doing. Thank them, even if only in your heart, because they're doing sacred work on your behalf, work that you may never fully see or understand, but work that matters deeply to the quality of your life and the peace of your home. Have you ever wondered why your cat showed up in your life at the exact moment they did? Why that particular cat, with that specific personality, those unique quirks and behaviors? Leave a comment and tell me your story. How did your cat find you? Or perhaps more accurately, how did they choose you? Because I promise you, there's more to that story than you might realize. But here's what I want you to sit with as we prepare to go deeper. Your cat isn't just protecting you from external energies or clearing your space of heaviness. There's something even more profound happening in this relationship, something that touches the very essence of who you are and why you're here. Because before you ever decided to bring them home, before you ever saw their face or heard their meow, something had already been arranged. A meeting had already been planned. Not by you, not by them, but by something that understands what your soul needs in order to grow, heal, and remember its own wholeness. What if I told you that your cat didn't just wander into your life? What if they were sent, soul contracts? Why this cat found you? It was never an accident. It never is. There's a reason that specific cat is in your life. Not just any cat, that one. The one with the particular markings, the unique personality, the specific behaviors that sometimes frustrate you and other times melt your heart completely. That cat. Yours. Let me take you back to the moment you met. Maybe you went to a shelter planning to just look, and one cat refused to leave your side. Maybe you found a kitten in a parking lot on the worst day of your year. Maybe a friend needed to rehome their cat, and somehow that cat ended up with you, despite the fact that you'd never planned on having a pet. Do you remember that first moment of eye contact? That strange sensation of recognition? As if you'd known each other before, even though you'd just met. That feeling has a name. It's called soul recognition, and it's far more common and far more real than most people are willing to admit. Throughout spiritual traditions across the world, there exists a beautiful concept that souls make agreements before incarnating into physical form. These agreements, sometimes called soul contracts, are commitments to meet, to teach, to heal, or to journey together through specific life experiences. We usually think of these contracts in terms of human relationships, soulmates, family members, teachers who change our lives. But why would these sacred agreements be limited only to human connections? Why couldn't a soul choose to incarnate as a cat, specifically to walk beside you during this lifetime? The answer is simple. They do. They absolutely do. Your cat's soul made a decision to be with you, to find you, to stay with you. Not because they needed a home, though they may have, but because your soul needed them, and their soul agreed to answer that need. Think about the circumstances surrounding how your cat came into your life. Really think about it. How many unlikely coincidences had to align perfectly for that meeting to happen? How many near misses, last-minute decisions, or unexpected turns led you to that exact place at that exact time? A woman decides to take a different route home from work and finds a kitten hiding under a dumpster. A man scrolls through adoption websites one more time, even though he's looked dozens of times before, and finally sees the face that makes his heart stop. A family loses their elderly cat and swears they'll never get another one, and then a stray shows up at their door 3 days later, refusing to leave. These aren't random events. These are orchestrated meetings. Moments of divine timing that honor agreements made long before this lifetime began. Now let's talk about what your cat came here to teach you. Because every soul contract has a purpose. Every agreement includes specific lessons, healing opportunities, or awakenings that both souls have committed to exploring together. Some cats come to teach presence. If you're someone who lives in your head, constantly planning, worrying, or replaying the past, your cat is here to show you what it means to exist fully in the now. Watch how they engage with a simple beam of sunlight, a dangling string, or the rustling of leaves outside the window. They're not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. They're here, completely. That's their teaching. Some cats come to heal abandonment wounds. If you've experienced rejection, betrayal, or the pain of being left behind, your cat may have come specifically to show you a different kind of love. A love that doesn't leave. A love that chooses you again and again, without conditions or demands. Every time they curl up beside you, every time they seek you out, they're rewriting the story your wounded heart learned to believe. Some cats come to awaken your intuition. If you've lost touch with your inner knowing, if you've learned to ignore your gut feelings or dismiss your sensitivity, your cat is here to reconnect you with that lost part of yourself. They model it every single day, the ability to sense what cannot be seen, to trust what cannot be proven, to act on instinct without second-guessing. And some cats come simply to remind you that you are worthy of unconditional love. not because of what you do or what you achieve, not because you're perfect or have everything figured out, but because you exist, because your soul has value, because you matter. Have you noticed how your cat loves you even on your worst days? When you're irritable, when you're sad, when you feel like you have nothing to offer, they're still there, still purring, still choosing your lap over every other spot in the house. That's not simple animal behavior. That's a soul fulfilling its agreement to remind you of your inherent worthiness. Now, here's where this gets even more profound. The specific quirks and personality traits your cat has? They're not random either. They're tailored, designed, perfectly matched to what you need to learn or heal. If your cat is independent and aloof, perhaps you needed to learn that love doesn't require constant validation or attention, that you can be loved even when you're not being actively engaged. If your cat is anxious or reactive, maybe you needed a mirror for your own nervous system, a living invitation to slow down, to create calmness, to understand that your energy affects those around you. If your cat is playful and mischievous well into their adult years, perhaps you needed someone to remind you that life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. That joy is always available if you're willing to be present to it. Every characteristic, every behavior, every little thing that makes your cat uniquely themselves. It all serves the agreement your souls made before this life began. And those moments when they stop and stare at nothing, when their eyes fix on empty space and their whole body goes still, maybe they're not just sensing energies or protecting your home. Maybe, in those moments, they're also communicating, checking in with their guides, with the spiritual realm that sent them here, receiving updates, recalibrating their mission, making sure they're fulfilling the agreement they made to walk beside you through this human experience. Maybe they're asking, how is my human doing? What do they need right now? How can I serve them better? I know some of you have tears in your eyes right now. I know because this truth touches something deep, something you've always felt but didn't know how to name. Tell me in the comments. What has your cat taught you that you didn't even know you needed to learn? What part of yourself has changed since they entered your life? I want to hear your stories because they matter. Because your unique soul contract with your cat is sacred, and it deserves to be witnessed and honored. Your cat sees you, not the version you present to the world, not the mask you wear at work or the role you play in your family. They see your soul, and they love what they see there, even when you struggle to love it yourself. That's why they chose you. That's why, out of all the humans in all the world, their soul said yes to yours. But there's something more I need you to understand. Something that will change the way you see every ordinary moment you share with your cat. Because this connection you have, this soul contract, it isn't just about what happens in this lifetime. It's part of something much larger. Something that existed before you met and will continue long after your time together in these physical forms comes to an end. And when your cat sits in that perfect stillness, gazing into the invisible realms, they're touching that eternal thread. They're reminding both of you that this love, this bond, this sacred agreement between your souls is not bound by time, by space, or even by death. So what does that mean for the way you live with them today? For the way you honor this gift you've been given? For the way you hold this connection in your heart? Living in sacred connection, honoring the gift, now you know, now you feel it in your bones. That gaze your cat fixes on the emptiness isn't empty at all. It's full of purpose, full of protection, full of a love that transcends what words can hold. You didn't just adopt a pet. You welcomed a teacher, a healer, a soul companion who agreed to walk this journey with you. And that changes everything. It changes how you see them, how you touch them, how you honor the sacred ordinary moments you share. So let's talk about what it means to live in conscious connection with this gift you've been given. It starts with presence. Real, undistracted, wholehearted presence. We live in a world that constantly pulls our attention away. Our phones buzz. Our minds race with tomorrow's tasks or yesterday's regrets. But your cat? They're always here. Always now. Try this today. Sit with your cat for just 5 minutes. No phone, no television, no distractions. Just you and them, breathing the same air, sharing the same space. Watch how they breathe. Notice the rise and fall of their chest. Feel the warmth of their body if they're close enough to touch. In those 5 minutes, you're not just spending time with your cat, you're honoring the agreement your souls made. You're saying without words, I see you. I recognize the gift you are. I'm here with you, fully, right now. This is one of their greatest teachings, that everything you're searching for exists right here, in this breath, in this moment, in this connection. Gratitude is another practice that deepens this sacred bond. And I don't mean abstract gratitude, I mean specific, spoken, intentional acknowledgement. Talk to them. Yes, out loud. Tell them thank you for staying by your side during that difficult week. Thank them for their purr when your heart was heavy. Thank them for simply being exactly who they are. You might feel silly at first, but your cat understands energy and intention far better than they understand words. They feel your gratitude, and it strengthens the bond between you. When your cat stops and stares at that invisible point in space, join them mentally. You don't need to see what they see, but you can acknowledge that they're working. Breathe slowly. Send a silent thank you into that moment. Trust that they're doing exactly what they came here to do. Let's talk about touch, about the way you physically connect with your cat. Most of us pet our cats while doing something else, watching television, scrolling our phones. And there's nothing wrong with that. But every so often, make your touch intentional, sacred. When you stroke their fur, do it with full awareness. Feel the softness, notice the warmth. This isn't just a cat. This is a soul in physical form, temporarily sharing space and time with your soul. That's extraordinary. That deserves reverence. When you touch your cat with intention, with presence, with gratitude, you're blessing them. You're honoring their spirit. And they feel it? Believe me, they feel it. Now, I want to address something many of you may be thinking about. The awareness that this time is temporary. That one day, your physical time together will end. It's painful to consider. I know. But your cat's physical body, like yours, is temporary. The soul contract you share includes this reality. It's one of the hardest parts, but it's not the end of your connection. When that time comes, know this. The love doesn't end. The bond doesn't break. Your cat's spirit transforms, but the thread between your souls remains intact. Many people report signs after their cats pass. A familiar presence felt in the room. The sensation of a cat jumping onto the bed when no cat is there. The appearance of a new cat at exactly the moment grief feels unbearable. These aren't coincidences. These are real communications, real evidence that the contract continues beyond physical death. But we're not there yet. Your cat is here with you now, and that's what matters. This moment, this breath, this life you're sharing together. Create an environment that honors their sensitive nature. Keep your home as peaceful as you can. They absorb the emotional atmosphere constantly. Play gentle music. Speak kindly. Remember that your energy is their environment. Respect their need for retreat. When your cat seeks solitude, they're not rejecting you. They're recharging, processing all the energy they've absorbed. And when they bring you gifts, even the unwanted ones, understand what they're offering. This is love. This is their way of saying, I take care of you. Every bowl of fresh water you provide, every meal you serve, these aren't chores. These are acts of reciprocity. They care for your spirit. You care for their body. This exchange is balanced. It's beautiful. It's holy. Look at your cat right now, wherever they are. Really see them. Not just as a cat, but as the soul who chose you. The ancient being who agreed to take physical form to walk beside you through this particular chapter of your eternal existence. They chose you. Out of all the humans in all the world, their soul said yes to yours. And even on the hardest days, when nothing makes sense and everything feels heavy, they're there, fixing their gaze on the invisible, protecting what's sacred in you, holding space for your healing. You are loved by a soul that sees beyond your human limitations. You are accompanied by a spirit that chose you before you were born. You have never been alone in this journey. Not once, not ever. So the next time your cat stops and stares at nothing, don't wonder what they're seeing. Instead, place your hand over your heart. Take a slow breath and say quietly, "Thank you. Thank you for guarding me. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for loving me exactly as I am." Because that's what they're doing in that moment of perfect stillness. They're fulfilling the agreement your souls made before time began. They're holding space for the sacred in you while simultaneously touching the sacred that exists beyond the veil. And through that fixed gaze into apparent nothingness, they're actually showing you everything that matters. They're revealing that love is real, that protection is present, that you are cherished by forces you cannot measure but can absolutely feel. You came from far away to meet each other here. Your cat remembers that. Even if you've forgotten, they remember. And that, my friend, is pure magic. That is grace. That is the gift you wake up to every single day. If this message touched your heart, if you feel the truth of this connection with your own cat, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. These stories matter. Your story matters. The sacred bond between humans and cats deserves to be witnessed and honored. Leave a comment telling me about your cat. Tell me their name. Tell me how they found you. I'll read every word and I'll respond, because your experience is part of this larger tapestry of love we're all weaving together. Hold your cat a little closer. Look into their eyes with full presence. And remember, you are loved beyond measure by a soul wearing fur. And they're staring at nothing so you can remember everything.